right, welcome back to Cricket for Americans. Nick here.
Gabe, the Night Watchman.
And we are here to talk about another version of
Our
three Wickets.
Oh, man. We're going to call it the Free from Mush edition because good things comes in threes, just like our 3 wickets. First, my West Indies with that amazing chase, 495, you know what I'm saying? Next, Tom Brady in the Super Bowl won daddy some money when the whole world thought, no way, he's too old, Kansas City. And now England versus India. I said it in our video with our predictions. You, me, and Jamie Alter. And I said, listen, I think that England's good enough to split this series. You know what I mean? Sweep. Are you kidding me? Sweep? Not today. Not on my watch. So Eddie Mush is feeling good about himself. Just saying. My next bet, Nick, by the way, the sun's coming out tomorrow. I'm telling you, sun's coming out tomorrow.
Bold prediction, my friend. Bold prediction. So we're, like he said, we're talking about India versus England, the first test match. And it's funny, Gabe, someone in the comment section said, you should call this Indian cricket for Americans. Listen, I'm not going to hide the fact that I'm rooting for India. Gabe's not going to hide the fact that he's rooting for the West Indies or for Australia or me rooting for England. It just so happens that I got both those squads I've been rooting for the most because that's the cricket we've seen right here. I've also rooted for Pakistan. I've also rooted for Ireland, right? It's not my fault this is a big series right now. We just end with a big series. So, no, this is not just for Indian cricket. But this is a situation, Gabe, in this match, in this series, India had a highly favorable situation to get to the WTC. That's changed a lot drastically. But before I start hooting and hollering, before I start getting all upset or this or that, and maybe I won't even do that because I'm a lot more relaxed now than I was last night. Let me say this, because this is just who I am. All the respect, all the props to England. They came into India. And I don't want to take any of your thunder, okay? But they came into India against all odds, and they took care of business, and they took care of business in a big way, all right? And I am not, as a cricket fan, I'm nothing but proud for them. Again, I've been rooting for these guys the entire year anyways. It just, they came together, and I just got a little more love for India. But I love what England cricket's all about. They, in my opinion, didn't have all of the big horses, but they had most of them. And they showed up, and, man, whether it's toss, pitch, whatever it is, they took care of business the way they needed to.
Agreed. And, here's the thing. And we'll talk about this later, what we like, what we didn't like, what we learned. Yeah, the pitch makes a big difference. So winning that toss, especially in India and in subcontinent pitches, it's a big deal. It definitely is a big deal. But with that being said, you still got to go out there. You got to show up and you got to play. You know what I mean? And you can't take anything away from Joe Root's performance. Again, I was sitting and no disrespect to you or Jamie or, any of the other pundits that were out there. But I'm sitting back thinking to myself, England's just being dismissed. Like they have no shot at getting to the WTC. And I'm sorry, they played the most test games of every other nation. I said it now and I said it again. I think they deserve to be there above New Zealand, who's played, 2 test series outside of home? And what did they go, 4 and 5? Just, come on, just saying. And we know how big home field advantage is, or 1 and 4, thank you. So, I mean, for me, it's one of those situations where maybe it's because I'm biased because recency bias. How much out of all, I've seen England versus Pakistan, England versus my West Indies, England now versus India, England versus Sri Lanka. I've watched a lot of England cricket, okay? They were the first ones right after quarantine that came out and started playing. So I say that to say I've seen these guys, and I know they got Jimmy Anderson. The guy's a living legend, all right? They got, 600 wickets? They've got Stuart Broad. 500 wickets. They got Jofra Archer, in my opinion, one of the best young bowlers. All right. They've got Sir Ben Stokes. The guy's rated the top all-rounder in the world. Him and Jason Holder and Jadeja, those guys are like I mean, with all this talent, how can anybody say or just count them out of a series? So I was just perplexed that people were saying, oh, yeah, India's going to steamroll them 4-0. Really? Okay, well, we'll see what happens. Now, I'm not to my own herd too much yet. They still got to come back, and I won't steal any of your thunder. They still got to go ahead and not let happen to them what happened in Australia when, India first lost that first test match as well in Australia, and then wrecked my Aussies. But you know what? I digress. Let's just get right into our 3 wickets, what we liked, what we didn't like, and what we learned. I'm going to start off with what I liked. Listen, I was wrong. Okay? I mentioned before, and Nick was wrong too, but he was smart enough to jump off the train.
So close.
Literally a game before, because I've been watching a lot of England cricket, and Joe Root has not been Joe Root. And I said, bro, Joe Root doesn't belong to be in the Fab Four. Are you kidding me? I also said that about Kane Williamson, and he taught me a lesson. But still, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, yo, Joe Root is trash. You know what I mean? He's probably the most underwhelming captain. Is this his 3rd double century? I like literally in the last 3.
Close. He had like a 180 or something like that.
So he's got 2 double centuries, and then he's got like 4 centuries in his last like 3 test match. He's going insane. And this is just so impressive. And like you said, it's funny, Nick jumped off the Joe Root hate train. I honestly believe that the Brahmi Army got the Nick, because I've never seen him change his mind on anything so quick. Maybe he opened up some mail. He opened up a correspondent like, oh my gosh, they got my home address. And it was written in crayon too, okay? How dare you talk about Joe Root? You know what I mean? Like they said something to him, because my man changed his opinion real quick. But I'm just saying. But he was bad. And Joe Root had this interview that Nick had done a reaction on, where he talked about how, he needed to step it up and take ownership of his game. He admitted he hadn't been playing good. Honestly, he was humble. And I think that's what Nick liked about it. And literally, since that time, the guy has gone off. So now you can't just say, that he was lucky. Oh, it was just Sri Lanka. Everybody can hit it. Oh, yeah, really? Now we're talking about one of the best bowling sides in the world. And my man still 218 for 377 in that first inning. 218 for 377. Don't tell me it was just Sri Lanka and it was just the pitch and it was just, no. The dude's a savage, okay? Even the second innings, when the pitch turned, right? And nobody could score. Literally, he was also the highest scoring person on his team with 44. What did he have in that second inning?
40.
Yeah, 40 for 32, right? A 125 strike rate. So Joe Root is in rare form. I was wrong. And I got to say, that's what I liked. I also have to say, you know what? I was wrong about spinners. Dom Bess, 5 huge wickets, 4 of them in that first innings. I was not impressed by Dom Bess. I said that before. And I said, because I've seen him go against other teams, especially in England, very unimpressive. And people are like, Gabe, wait till you see him on a subcontinent pitch that is gonna be more conducive to spin. And man, does it make a difference. So what did I like? I like that he went out and got his wickets. He did the same thing in Sri Lanka, now in India. So he is a weapon. Now I know why he's on the England test team. Him and Leach are absolutely needed. Okay, I like their performance. Leach dominated that second innings. Right out the bat, got Rohit Sharma. I mean, Leach was in my opinion, overall was better when you combine an entire test match, because Dom Bess, as usual, is a little expensive. I mean, Leach, you know what's funny? Leach gave up 105 in the first innings. He got himself 2 wickets. And Dom Bess gave up 76 in that first inning, but he got 4 wickets. In the second inning, Leach gave up 76 runs, but he bowled 26 overs. Listen, Noah Archer, 9. Anderson, 11. And we'll talk about that in a minute. Dom Bess, 8. And gave up 50 runs in 8. I thought it was T20. He got pumped. 625.
Remember when we were clowning his economy rate? He didn't make another appearance. Now, there wasn't much more of the game left, but he was in witness protection program right away.
Listen, got pumped, all right? Got pumped. But they did their job. But what am I most impressed? What did I love the most? Jimmy Anderson. People say, oh, Jimmy Anderson getting older. We just saw him break a record earlier this year. Him and Stuart Broad. Stuart Broad got his 500th wicket. Jimmy Anderson got his 600th wicket. Jimmy can still bowl. And he is, again, in a subcontinent pitch, the swing on his balls, he was an absolute savage. He literally, in 1 over, had that double wicket maiden, and it could have been 3 wickets. Okay, could have been a hat trick because there was a wicket in between. It was a wicket, then it was a review that was blown by the umpire's call.
It was a brilliant umpire's call.
I'm sure it was, Nick. Brilliant umpire's call. Horrible. I want to see what Bogley says about this one. Horrible call. And then he said, no problem, no worries. I don't need the DRS system. I'm gonna go get it myself. Jimmy Anderson, 3 wickets, 155 economy rate, bro. 3 wickets in that second inning. He was an absolute savage, and he snatched any chance of India being able to draw this thing out, man. I was so impressed. Man, there were other performances, but for me, it was the bowling. It was all about the bowling. And I was wrong about Jack Leach. I was wrong specifically about Don Best. But Jimmy Anderson proved why the guy's a living legend. And, man, it's so great to watch him bowl. Like I said, if you're Australia right now, or you know what, matter of fact, if you're New Zealand right now, who do you want to play? Do you want to play India? Do you want to play England? At home, remember.
You don't want to play England at home. Stop it.
I'm just saying, exactly. It's England at home, at Lords. So if you're New Zealand, you're probably thinking to myself, oh, man, last time we played away from home, we got wrecked. You know what I'm saying? Now we got to see one of these 2 teams. It's not an easy path. And there's still the possibility my Aussies could get in. Man, I love cricket. This is just awesome. Awesome few games. Nick, what did you love about this match? What did you like?
Well, you mentioned Joe Root. I mean, I think my math is correct. Hopefully it's correct. He got something like 1/3 of the total runs of England by himself. And he's got guys on his squad that can also help carry the weight. Unbelievable what he did. That first innings by England, that was the entire match. And I don't say that to excuse. I don't say that to say, if India won the toss, I guarantee they would have got 700 runs. And a lot of the comments right now are going to say that. I'm not going to say that. Because when I get to what I learned, you guys will explain. You'll understand why. What did I like from the India side? There wasn't a whole lot I liked. I liked the fact that they got 337 in the first innings. That's a pretty decent score for a first inning test match. Too bad you're chasing 578, right? I like the fact that they bowled out England for 178, especially when they gave up 400 more runs in the first innings. I liked that a lot. I really, really liked my man Ashwin, though, because when he first came out of the gate, his first few overs, he was very expensive. He wasn't really in rhythm. They said, don't worry, Nick, wait till he gets in rhythm. This guy got himself 9 wickets in this match. 9 wickets. He got 3 in the first innings, 6, a 6-fer in the second innings when they were able to just take down England relatively quickly, which unfortunately was not a good thing because, a few more hours in this match, we're talking about a draw. But I love what Ashwin was doing, okay? And that's the only bowler I'm going to mention because when you give up 578, it's just, I don't want to hear the excuse about the pitch. I just don't want to do it. I don't want to use that excuse, and I'm not going to use that excuse. I'm not going to say it doesn't play a part. I'm not going to say it's not a huge part of it, but I am very much not the excuse guy. I try to look at more of the factors that you can control. Right. They should have controlled the pitch, but for some reason they didn't. And yesterday, Gabe, I was flabbergasted. I was shocked, and I probably got in people's ear way too much saying everyone now is saying it's a beautiful pitch. And like to your point, maybe those are the England fans like, oh, yeah, it was great, Nick. But I have no problem with this pitch, Nick. Okay, all right. Then you have no problem if you're an India fan with England scoring 578. And again, nothing but love to England for that. I really liked Shubman Gill. I don't feel like he was careful enough. I felt like he was, for some reason, like in a T20 ODI form, he was able to get high strike rates and score decently, 29 in the first innings, a nice 50 in the second innings. He saw a few more balls. Obviously, that strike was a little lower the second innings. and he looks like him and Coley, they were going to be able to kill at least a few hours. And then he goes off on the very next ball. He was very aggressive with his 7 boundaries, but I'm just not turning to what I didn't like. I like what he was able to do because, unfortunately, besides him and Coley, especially in that second innings for Coley, who else do you have, right? I mean, who else do you have to look at that's going to really hold things down? Now, obviously, in that first innings when they scored the 337, you had some great performance, but I'm talking about innings combined. Pont, 91 in that first innings. Absolutely amazing. I believe he's the first ever man of the month in cricket, in at least test cricket. They started using awards. He won that, and he showed who he was in that very first innings. The second innings, he just seemed off, like everybody else seemed off in that second innings. Washington Sundar, 85 this guy gets you with 12 boundaries and 2 sixes. We know this guy likes to hit the 6. I love that, and he did not get out in that first inning. They just got pulled out. The other guys did. Ashwin, news report, did not get the double century for anyone that watched our live stream. And then, Pujara. Pujara is the linchpin in this batting attack. You can argue Kohli. You can argue possibly Gill or Pont. Pujara is the linchpin. Everyone saw what happened in that second innings once Pujara went out. Everyone saw it. This guy, I mean, I can't say enough about how important he is and how essential he is. And unfortunately, if you're relying on Pujara to do Pujarian things every single innings, then you might not have as consistent as a squad. We know they got a deep squad. We know they got a whole lot of talent, but it's about the consistency. So I really, really like Pujara did, but I think my star was Ashwin on the bowling side because you got to get those wickets. And like we saw in the first innings, you let the other team get 578 before you get them out. You got to rely on yourselves getting 600 to get back in the match. That's a tall order for anyone. Gabe, that's what I like.
Just to piggyback on that Pujara thought, I mentioned it last night on the stream. Pujara to me, I think, is the most important person on this test team. And I'll tell you why. There was a stat which is going to not sound as an excuse. Obviously, I was rooting for England, so they won. But there was a stat that the commentators mentioned yesterday about how specifically on this pitch in Chennai, within the first 30 overs, okay, a lot of wickets were taken, right? In that first, in the second innings, I think it was a total of 15 wickets taken in that, first 30 overs. But once that ball gets beaten up, once that ball gets deadened, it's so much harder for these guys to take wickets. And again, Pujara went out before those first 30 overs, and other guys could not handle it. They could not play, and that's why he's got to be able to last those first 30, 40 overs, in order to A, wear down the bowling, but B, wear down that ball so that now guys can really attack and don't get out cheaply on an edge. You know what I'm saying? And you're right. He is the linchpin. And I think that, to me, there may be other questions because, look at that first inning and it'll tell you everything you need to know. Pujara, 73 runs. He wasn't the leading scorer. You had Pont, but you know what he was? The leading ball. We'll
call it a ball facer.
Ball facer.
Really
yeah. He saw the most deliveries, right? 143 balls. That's what you need, and you need to be able to wear down those batsmen again. To the point that this pitch was, even on day 3, once India started batting, they still put up 337. So it was definitely giving up a lot of runs, you know what I mean? But that's why he's so important. Without him, the team really falters, in my opinion. Now, let me go to what I hated. Not what that I did not like. What I hated. Hate. And people got on me the other day about this whole umpire situation when we did our LBW. All right, man, I erased it off the board. Our LBW video from Bogley, right? Guys, you cannot tell me this rule makes sense. I don't care that it's the law. There's dumb law. There was a lot of dumb laws here in America, and they got rid of them, okay? Because they were laws. And we're talking about, since we're not talking about rules, we're talking about laws. What's a law? At a long time ago, women couldn't vote. Just saying. You know what I'm saying? Just being real. Wow. I'm just saying, that was a dumb law, right? Minorities can, all kinds of laws can be changed. Just because it's a law doesn't mean it's not like it's the Bible. It's not the 10 Commandments. It's not like it can't be changed. Are you kidding me? This is glare. I don't understand the mentality of just because it's the law, it's okay to be wrong. What? Racial profiling was a law. Stopping race was legal here in America. Like, oh, that dude looks shady. Let me just pull him over. Just cause. Okay, that's wrong. My point is, you guys know something is absolutely wrong and are letting it fly by. And I know that the comparison is very, very. You look at Nick like, oh man, the AACP, the NAACP, all kinds of people are going to be complaining about this stream or whatever. But I'm trying to, like, people keep saying, Gabe, that's just the law. It's the way it is. If there's a law that's broke, fix it. Where does it say it's not chiseled in stone somewhere? All right? Are you kidding me? That was the worst call. And I get it. People are going to say, but umpires still did a good job. It was, somebody mentioned with their calls, they got an 80%, 85% accuracy. 85% accuracy. Okay. Why not get the other 15% right if you have the ability to? Why is that wrong? No one has yet to explain that to me other than to say, but Gabe, it's the law. Oh, really? That's it. Just, it's the law. Why not get it right 100% of the time if you can? You know what I'm saying? That's what's just, nobody has made that argument to me. You're not telling me you can't get it right because obviously you have the technology to get it right. But no, it's just, whether we get it right or wrong, it's the law. What? That makes no sense. That was the worst call. Listen, that was worse, in my opinion, Nick, than the lion ball, because the lion one was a little higher up on the stumps. This one was at the bottom of the stumps. For the love of Pete. For the love of Pete. Are you kidding me? Oh, LBW. What did I hate? LBW. All right. I just had to get that off my chest. Now, on the England side, okay?
That wasn't even what you hated? Oh,
that's what I hated. All right.
It's going to be a marathon video.
That's actually what I hated. Now, on the England side, what did I not like? Okay. I just have to say, once again, Joe Root is the linchpin to this team, just like Pujara is. And I'll tell you why. That second innings, they got outplayed. They got outplayed by India. Look at the scores: 178, and India put up, 192 in those second innings. And again, Ben Stokes went out on 7. Root went out, and I'm like, guys, you have the opportunity. Then it was like, either you declare or you go for it. Why are so many guys? Don Best, 25 for 55, right? He's eating up 55 delivery, 40 balls by Josh Butler. Are we trying to leave ourselves enough time to win? Now, it worked out in hindsight. But everyone was talking about, is this winning cricket? Are you trying to draw? You should not be going in there trying to get a draw on day one. You should be trying to get a win, especially after that huge first innings. And I just didn't think that the mentality was a winning one, in my opinion, all right? It ended up working out. Jimmy Anderson with that unbelievable spell bailed us out. But what happens if Jimmy Anderson doesn't get those 3 wickets? Well, that double wicket maiden right there, which was some huge wickets, and 3 wickets in that second inning. You got guys batting, and that it made it to the second session. It could have gotten drawn out, and then people would have been like, well, maybe England should have declared earlier, or maybe they should have put their pedal on the metal and tried to score quicker. You know what I'm saying? The mentality is what I didn't like, and that's on Joe Root, right? He's the captain, so that's my only criticism. Nick, what did you not like? Please say DRS. Please say DRS. Please say DRS. Please say DRS. Please say DRS.
Listen.
Come on.
Listen, again, those are things that are out of my control. As a fan, those are out of the umpires are going to do the umpires thing. The DRS is going to do DRS thing. It's out of the control of the players, right? There's nothing a player can practice for besides being more accurate than to prevent that from happening. But as far as the Joe Root line or point that you just made goes, I have learned one thing in the 3 or 4 series that I've watched Joe Root captain. This guy, he makes the right calls. It's as simple as that. And I was saying it when I was giving him hate earlier on. I had complained against the West Indies and then against the series after that. Why aren't you declaring? Why are you going for more runs? You're so greedy. And then the second innings comes and they can't score runs. And thank goodness they went for 2.5 days and they still end up winning the match. They won this match by like 3 hours, Gabe. By like 3.5 hours, they won this match. And they were still batting their first innings into the third day. This guy just has a feel for it. And I'm going to connect that to what I learned in a second. But what did I not like about India? There's so much I don't like. The main thing I don't like is the fact that a toss apparently can have so much power in your home ground. Okay. And again, you can tell me whatever you want about how the pitch was beautiful. This was great test pitch. Okay. I have a hard time rooting for any sport where apparently, and it just seems apparently, again, it could be that England was just on point and Joe Root was just doing his thing. But it seemed to me that, and that's like the forgetting the line of Elton John, but it seemed to me that it was a huge advantage. It was a huge handicap for whoever lost that flip, that coin toss, because 578, and it seemed effortless, for crying out loud. I mean, it was hard to watch when you're rooting for India. That's what I do not like, is the fact that if the cricketing world is okay with that pitch, if they are okay with that pitch, and that's just the way test cricket is, and you better win that coin toss, I don't like that at all. Now, because I don't use those excuses, what I did not like was, again, this is what happened in Australia in more than one innings, but especially in that first match. The bowling was not able to get traction. They were not able to get consistency. They were not able to get those big wickets when they needed to. They could have got Joe Root 3 times, and 2 of those times was a possible run out. But one of those times they could have got it if it was just a little more crisp. And those are the opportunities you need to seize. You need to take control of. Because England only scored 178 in their second innings, it actually opened the door for India. They had to put on a masterful performance, but we just saw with the West Indies 395, I believe, in day 5, and they were able to get it done, right? They were able to get it done. It opened the door for India. But India, the batsmen, they just were, for whatever reason, right? They were just not interested in walking through. Now, this pitch went from a very, very flat pitch, they were calling it a road in our streams,
right,
to just the pitch that's just turning all over the place, and it's a spinner's delight. Case in point, we saw Leach and Best get 5 combined. We saw Ashwin get 6 on his own. That's the main thing I don't like, talking about individual players. And I really, it's part of our segment and it's fine. We have fun with it. I really don't like doing it because I respect these players. They play a great game. They do a great job. But there's 2 batsmen in particular that I am seriously concerned about because we are in that liability stage at this point, the way they're playing. And that's Rohit Sharma and that's Ajinkya Rahane. We were just singing Rahani's praises as a captain, and I still think that he really shines in that role. But take away 1 century that he got in Australia, which was fantastic. He has struggled as a batsman.
Very
incredibly struggled. And, I mean, in inning 1, you can't make this up. 6 balls, he got out after scoring 1, right? And then inning number 2, 3 balls, and he got a duck. He saw 9 balls, not even 2 overs combined in his batting performances, and he's batting number 5. I mean, he's a vice captain. How do you sit him down? But the performance is not there. And in my opinion, this is how I always am. But when we're so close to WTC and we need to win every match or maybe draw 1, I need to have my best batting players right now. Maybe we sit him down for test 2. We see if the pitch is a little more level. We see it's not such a handicap. And we see if they can do what everyone says they can do, and that's win at home. But he's a big liability, in my opinion, right now with the bat. And Rohit Sharma. I mean, yes, it's nice that he can bowl you a few overs to, rest your bowlers when you're giving up 600 runs. But he's your opener. He saw 20 balls in the second innings. He saw 9 balls in the first innings. 29 balls, not even 5 overs. You can't have those kind of performances. You can't be in the 5th over and already have a wicket against you because that already tenses you up when you're chasing 400 runs, 372 runs.
Right.
You're not going to convince me, I don't care how experienced you are, it does not tense you up as a batsman for India. Like, okay, we got to tighten things up. We can't get – and then the pitch is just the way it is, and it's like, oh, man, it's going all over the place. Reverse swing is in effect. The spin is in effect. That's honestly, that is the thing that I really disliked, is seeing that, because these guys are heroes. These guys have done amazing things in their careers as recently as very, very recently, but it's a serious problem. As far as the bowlers go, Ishant Sharma, Boomer, they got a few overs here and there, but you're going to say, oh, but Nick, this is not for pace. Look at what Jimmy Anderson just did. Look what Jofra Archer just did. They didn't get fifers, but they were really going to it. And I was really, really concerned. The interesting thing is this, though, Gabe. In that first innings, because it lasted so long, the economy rates were very, very low because they were throwing so many balls. You would think that those bowlers would have been worn out by the second innings, and then they bowled them out for 178. I did like seeing that.
Right. I will just piggyback a little bit on what you said about being disappointed with the bowlers, right? For India. I understand it was a last-minute replacement, but Nadeem got himself 2 wickets in that first innings. He gave up 167 runs, bro. 167, and bowled 10 less overs than Ashwin, who gave up 146 runs and got 3 wickets. Okay, now you're a spinner, so you're supposed to be getting wickets over here. But I'm just saying, like, why did they not go? And what am I missing? Is what did Kuldeep do? I really want to know. Let us know in the chat. Why was Kuldeep overlooked? Because Kuldeep is a veteran on this team, right? Kuldeep Yadav. Why didn't they bring him in? Somebody make that make sense to me. It couldn't have been as simple as, okay, he was bad or lost confidence or whatever, because I know people were saying he lost confidence. He got beat up not too long ago. All right, he's still a veteran dude. You want to bring him in as opposed to Nadeem, who he didn't impress me. He didn't do anything. I wonder if he's going to be dropped. But I just wanted to mention that as far as the Indian bowling. All right. Now, what I learned. And I think that to Nick's point, the toss, I don't think there's another sport where the toss is as important as it is in cricket. I really asked the audience last night. I asked CFA Nation, and listen, there's toss in American football, okay? But that just means you end up getting the ball at second half, all right? It doesn't mean you can pick which way you're going on the field, which might help with the wind if you're throwing into the wind, but it doesn't really impact the game that much. There is none in baseball, and basketball, and the NBA is a tip-off. I cannot think of another sport where it's this important. And to that fact, if it is this important, not making excuses, but you want to make sure that you've got a guy that this isn't his first time working on an international pitch. Just saying, who let that happen? All right. And I don't know, man. To me, and I get it, that's the way it is, and that's the rule of the game. But that puts so much pressure on that opening coin toss. What else I learned? You seem to say this goes back to my Nadeem comment. Joe Root can do no wrong. All right. Even though Ben Stokes is known as one of the greatest players in the world, I remember early on talking about how Ben Stokes should be the captain when Joe Root was struggling, and people were like, absolutely not. Ben Stokes got his chance to captain the one game when Joe Root was out, and Ben Stokes lost. Root didn't lose in that series against the West Indies. He knows how to win. This is just, like you said, he makes the right decisions. Even though we question those decisions, he makes the right decisions. So as a captain, that's super important. On the same token, was that the right decision by Kohli? Not his play. Kohli was the last of the Mohicans out there, man, battling. 74, and he got dismissed on a ball that really showed how deteriorated the pitch was, because when the ball hit, bro, it was like a puff of smoke, and that ball stayed so low. I was like, what? It was insane. If you did not see the Kohli dismissal, that alone will tell you how bad that pitch was, because it was like there was no bounce at that point. It was like boom, and it just died down there, a puff of smoke. It was like destroyed a patch of the pitch. With that being said, doesn't Kohli also get to make the decision about Nadeem versus Yadav, right? Nadeem, who comes in? I get it. Axar Patel got hurt. This was what, maybe a couple days before the tournament. So it's maybe something they didn't have too much time to put thought into. But ultimately it's still, your team. You made that choice. So, man, and I think that for right now, first of all, India definitely needs to look at the team and say, we need to make a change. Okay, we need to make a change. Nadeem should not be bowling in there in the second test match. And as far as the batsmen are concerned, I think no matter who you put in there, the most important person, I understand your point about Sharma. I understand your point, especially about Rahani's inconsistency. I get it. He's the vice captain. What are you going to do? Drop him? But, this team does not work, okay, without Pujara. So I don't think that there's many decisions he can make there as far as batsmen are concerned. But the bowling, he definitely needs to make some decisions as far as the bowling is concerned. But England, what I learned, I could say is what I learned, but this is what I was saying before. Guys, go back and check the record. Everyone who said I was crazy when I said New Zealand, England is arguably top 2 or 3, right along with New Zealand, right along with India. Go ahead and watch this match. Go ahead. And I'm just saying, I did not understand the disrespect for England. I was like, have everybody watched the same games I've been watching? I get it. New Zealand just smacked Sri Lanka. New Zealand just smacked, who else was it they played in another series? I can't remember who it was. I think it was Pakistan or something like that. They're at home. Let them go let them go bang with the big boys. You know what I'm saying? Let them go play Australia. Let them go play India. Let them go play England. Like, what was all the hate? People were just assumed it was a foregone conclusion that England was going to get wiped. First of all, it's never a certain thing. Nobody, these are athletes, cousin. That's why you step on the field. That's disrespectful to, Tom Brady. Again, people were saying, no way. He's old. Kansas City, the unstoppable machine. That's why we play the game. That's why we play the game. Because you got to show up. All right. I know no athlete has ever stepped on the field thinking, man, we're going to lose today. First thing I was told when I was boxing is you better walk in there thinking I'm going to tear his head off. I don't care who it is. Because if you're thinking, oh, man, this guy's so good or whoever it could be, you're done. You're done before you step in the ring. Bottom line, all right? You can never walk in there. Not that you don't respect the opposition, but you can never walk in there not thinking you don't have a chance to win. Then why bother patting up? Why bother showing up? You know what I'm saying? And that's just really, again, what I learned, but what everyone as a community should learn, because we still do it. Again, Vegas got crushed. I know every one of my family members. Yeah, I'm talking about you guys clowning me about mush. This. Oh, mush. I went with the Patriots. I went with Tampa Bay. They went with the other side just because I went with Tampa Bay. Guys, I mean, that's why they play the game. There's no such thing as a certainty. Trust me, there's no such thing as a certainty. If not, I probably wouldn't be doing YouTube videos or teaching. I'd be just betting sports. I do live here in Las Vegas, just saying.
So Gabe is the only guy I've ever met that can have a full-on two-way conversation with himself. I mean, we're at the 39, almost 40-minute mark right now before editing. And I think I may have spoken maybe 6.5 minutes. Someone do the math and let us know.
Stop it.
I'm serious. I'm not even exaggerating. He's got lots to say today. Holy cow. And his team won. I hate to see what happens when his team loses. I mean, he just must not be sure what to do with himself.
It's never going to happen again.
What I learned, now Gabe had like 5 things he learned. I just have one thing that I learned, all right? So the thing that I learned from this match, and I've been learning this the last several matches, but not having the confidence to go out on a limb and officially have this be something I officially learned. Now I'm ready, all right? I know I'm new to cricket. I know I still got to learn all the position names. I know I got to learn all the, the bowling pitches and all that kind of stuff, type of deliveries. There's a lot I still got to learn. History of the game, all this kind of stuff. But I am ready to go out on my own right now as a fan and go with my gut. Go with what I see. Go with my predictions and not listen so much to what all the experts say, to what the audience says, what the viewers say, to see with my own eyes and make a decision and say, this is what I think is going to happen and this is what I think is going to happen. Does it really matter whether I predict it correctly or no? No, not whether I predict it correctly or not. No, because at the end of the day, it's just a prediction. But that prediction, in my opinion, what you predicted, how close that prediction is to the outcome, shows your understanding of the sport. And I always want to grow with my understanding of the sport. Everyone said that India had no chance of winning in Australia. Okay. Everyone said that England had no chance of winning in India. And so far, India won 2-1 in Australia. They're down 0-1 in 4 matches. And people are going to say, why are you freaking out? Calm down. I'm not freaking out. My point is this. Their backs are against the wall, literally right now. They have to win every match, or they have to win 2 and draw 1. If they win 1 and draw 2, as far as I know, they're done as far as the WTC. What in the world is going on when you come off the high of India or of Australia? You have all your players, for the most part, healthy. Patel, that was a big hit, but it's not like he was Bumrah or something like that, right? I get he was a spinner, but look at the spinners and the runs they gave up and all that kind of stuff with the 3 spinners they went to. So calm down with that. But I don't understand the foregone conclusions before something happens. And I hear it all the time, whether it's on videos, professionals, or novices, all the time. This is what has always happened, so this is what's going to happen. This guy's going to go for a century. He'll go for a double century on this pitch. And I'm thinking to myself, how would Rohit Sharma go for a double century on this pitch when he has not been in form? He has not been in that form. You can tell me all you want. You weren't happy with Pont's second innings. Did the guy not get 91 in the first innings? Because he's in a good flow right now, and he's at a completely different pitch than what was in Australia. So what I learned, it's a selfish thing that I learned, but I'm going to go with my gut, and I'm going to go with my mind, and I'm going to see what I see, and I'm going to let the chips fall where they may. Yes, there's a lot I still got to learn, but I have got, because I got excited, and this is why I'm bitter about it. I got pumped. They're going to whitewash them. They're going to get easy rolls to WTC. I can see India, the team I'm rooting for, get there. That'd be awesome. And now you need, and I'm going to say it because you're going to say, oh, it's in India. It's on a you need a miracle performance. 3 wins in a row and at least 2 wins in a draw. And if you don't think it's a miracle performance, did you not watch the last match? Don't tell me pitch. Don't tell me coin toss, because guess what? There's a pitch in the next 3 matches, and there's coin tosses the next 3 matches. All I know is England came to play. They showed up. It seemed like India, for whatever reason, some of those players were not ready to play, were not ready to grind it out and play test cricket. I have no idea what's going on there. But in my opinion, the rest of the series is a toss-up. It's an absolute toss-up, and it's the best team will win, but also the team with the most heart will win, just like we saw in Australia. It's unbelievable. Ladies and gentlemen, if you liked our discussion, don't forget to like and subscribe. Thank you so much for listening to us. Let us know your thoughts. Always be respectful to one another, because we are building a community of gentlemen and gentlewomen. So go ahead and adhere to that. But with all that being said, until next time.
That's 6 runs.